Throughout my life, there have been a handful of unexpected titles that became large impacts on my outlook of what makes a game great. It's not always about what's most popular or what's the best shooter of this decade. Sometimes it's the incredibly simple titles that immerse you the deepest. Sometimes it's the stories that seem so basic that have the most impact. And sometimes, growing a parsnip will make you realize what's most important in a video game. Created by a single developer, Concerned Ape, Stardew Valley was released in 2016 on PC and ultimately came to the Switch in October of 2017. What started out as a childhood inspiration from Harvest Moon turned into the next massive success for a farming life simulator. I want to emphasize the life part of the farming life simulator. While this and past games like Harvest Moon have farming as a main activity, at their core, they are all about living a simple life with a close-knit town where relationships flourish and memories are made. The story begins with your customized character living a mediocre life by working a desk job. Your grandfather, who recently passed away, left an envelope for you to open only when you decided to make a major change in your life. It's discovered that your grandfather left you a house with some farmland in a rural community called Stardew Valley. After being greeted by the mayor and the town carpenter Robin, what you do next is up to you. And this is where the real beauty of this game begins. By having all of these options, farming, fishing, diving through caves, and more, you become extremely immersed in the story you create. Farming is full of many seasonal crops that can be used for cooking, gifts, or quests. Fishing is similar and also offers a challenging method of catching a massive array of fish and even some that are legendary. Mine for ore and gems in the old abandoned mineshaft, but beware of the monsters you face as you try to reach the bottom. You can also use crafting for machines and structures in your farm, and journey across the land to forage for many items of interest. Among these skills you use for money and progression, you will gain levels that will unlock new abilities and benefits. Once you've decided your favorite methods of advancing your farm, you can spend the rest of your time building relationships with local citizens. Doing so can unlock special cutscenes and even lead to marriage and kids. There's so much to learn from every character in this community, and each one is very unique with very different outlooks on life. Learning all of these stories will take a decent amount of time, but it's totally worth it. But luckily, you'll be able to take this game anywhere you go with the Switch's handheld function. 90% of my playtime on the Switch has been in handheld mode, and I have experienced zero issues with it. Font is large enough to read, controls aren't too complex, and the pixel art style is rendered beautifully on the smaller screen. This has been one of my favorite games to play while in bed. The only issue is that I tend to play it for too long when I should be sleeping. What about audio? The music has a very retro feel, which is due in part to the pixel art design. I can't help but say these tunes are incredible. It's happy and bright, which makes for the best atmosphere. The music also changes with every season. Sounds from using your watering can, sickle, and more are satisfying as well. They're cartoonish, but I wouldn't have it any other way. There's a lot to be learned from Stardew Valley, and most of it revolves around how powerful a simple game can be when it provides you with a living and breathing environment to thrive in. Every minute is pure relaxation. Isn't that what we play games for anyway? I think it's pretty obvious that I'm going to recommend everyone buy Stardew Valley if they haven't somehow already. From my time on PC and now on the Switch, I've racked up over 150 hours so far. This makes the value of this title well beyond the average game. If you finish the main story, build relationships, and hunt all the achievements, you'll find yourself way below the $1 per hour mark. $15 when it isn't on sale isn't asking for much at all. Please, do yourself the favor and experience this game. Sometimes you need a break from stressful shooters. Sometimes you don't feel like using your mind for strategy games. And sometimes we want to disconnect from our normal lives and head to the farm for a few days to see how those parsnips are doing. And that's it for Stardew Valley. Be sure to like this video if it helped you out, and subscribe to see my thoughts on upcoming titles. You can check out my social media by clicking on the links in the description below, and see what other games I have in mind for reviews to come even before a video is released.